Welcome to another Nerdalysis Unhinged, a series where I talk about subjects related to media and pop culture with no script and no regard for how long I ramble on. And this time we are talking about farming sims, one of my favorite genres of games. I have a lot of them, okay? I have a lot. And the reason I started thinking about farming sims a little bit more is because Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life just came out at the end of June, and this was a game that I played nonstop on the GameCube. Like, I would say this was my first proper introduction into the farming sim genre. So I wanted to talk about whether or not there are too many farming sims, because there have been a lot that have come out, and there are a lot coming out. So is this genre oversaturated? What are my thoughts on that? Maybe yes, maybe no. This video is sponsored by me and my Ko-Fi page. If you like the content you're seeing and want to support me in all my content creation endeavors, you can go to my page at www.ko-fi.com/Lindsay Reskin. Thank you to everyone who supports me. And now back to your scheduled programming. So, like I was saying with my background, Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. I know the Story of Seasons, Harvest Moon, it's confusing, okay? It has a confusing history dealing with copyright and translations and all that stuff. Just know that it used to be Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, back in like 2003. And now it's Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. Okay, we're not going to get into the history, but that was one of the games that I played so much. I don't even remember why I had the game. I want to say, just like a lot of the games that I had back in the day on the GameCube, I was at Best Buy. I saw a game with cows on the cover. If you've seen the original cover of it, it's like the farmer character you get to be, and like cows and townspeople and animals, and I was for it. I love animals. Why not? I was pretty sure I was already playing Animal Crossing, so another game with animals, that was my thing, and I played so much of this game. I even picked up the Game Boy one that I can't think of the name of, that I put the name of on the screen. Oh, Friends of Mineral Town. Yes, I picked that up on the Game Boy because back in the day, you could connect your Game Boy to the GameCube and they could talk to each other and you could do cool in-game things. So that's what I did. So I had two farming sims. I was into them, but A Wonderful Life, that was the game I kept coming back to over and over again. And so I started thinking recently, why am I so drawn to these games? Because that pattern continued. A Wonderful Life was not the end of farming sims for me. Oh no, it went on, it spiraled, it's out of control. My current Switch is full of farming sim games and I love them and I play them all the time. And why am I drawn to these games? I think it's the repetitive nature, in the sense that like there's a routine, there's a schedule. Your farmer typically wakes up around the same time. You have to water crops, feed animals, love them, milk them, all that fun stuff. And you're doing all of this with certain in-game goals in mind. You know, getting more money to upgrade your fields, or getting more money to buy a new barn so you can have more cows and pigs. It was repetitive and like predictable towards small goals. Like, I kind of knew what I was going to achieve. And for me, that like is really important in a game. I think another big draw to it is usually these games had a cast of characters that were unique and interesting. And part of the goal of the game was to befriend these characters. Something I love. I love plot. I love characters. I wanted all of the villagers to love me. I wanted all of the cute animals in my farm. And I just really enjoyed that. I liked the freedom of choice and design that you had in the game. Design in terms of your farm. Some farming sims allow you to design your farm more than others, but it was pretty much in my hands to let this farm sink or swim. Whether or not I was going to fail was kind of based on the choices I was going to make, but there was still like a goal in mind, like not just be successful, but like you do want money to be profitable. So it wasn't me just being dumped into an open world and saying, hey, have fun, and not giving me a farm and not giving me villagers or anything to think about. These games usually drop you in, usually with the trope of your dead grandfather, your dead father, or some dead family member left you this plot of land, or like this rundown shack and some fields and stuff, and you have to bring it back to life. And there's just something really satisfying about being able to do that, seeing your progress, not just day to day, but from season to season, seeing how much you can grow your farm, your relationships with the community. And that's what I really like about these games. And a lot of people have taken this formula and have made new games in this kind of farming sim genre. So are there too many? Because the basic premise is you take over a farm, you make money, you stop playing. Some of them don't even have an end. You just stop playing when you want to play. And are there too many? I will answer the question. Yes and no. Haha, so complicated. I started to think about this with A Wonderful Life, but it really started when Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town came out a few years back. I was so excited for that game because it was like the first Story of Seasons that I was kind of invested in that wasn't a remake. So they'd come out with Friends of Mineral Town, the remake before that, and it's fine. I love that game, and it was fun to play a game that I played as a kid, but this was like the first one that I was kind of invested in, this new Story of Seasons farming sim, and I was really disappointed to find that it felt lifeless to me. I got, 20, 30 hours in the game, like learning the mechanics, unlocking the little areas of the farm, but I felt like that game was trying too hard to be Stardew Valley in mechanics, but not in town, community, characters, all of that. Yeah, it kind of felt like a waste of a game. I was like, did I need this game? Did we need to have Pioneers of Olive Town? What does it have to offer to this genre? And I think that's the question we have to ask with new farming sim games. Do they offer something new to the genre, or what do they do well? And what can I say? This game, I play Stardew Valley for this reason, and I play A Wonderful Life for this reason. I think that's what makes a farming sim successful. That's my answer. Yes, there are too many that are kind of bland and lifeless, but I think there's still space in this genre for good farming sims. They're easier to make in theory. Like, the premise is already set. Someone will probably die, give you a farm. You'll have to learn the ropes. You're the new kid in town, befriend the community, build up your farming empire. But I think this genre is easy to make, but hard to get right. It's a balance of an interesting world and community and mechanics, character design, freedom versus restriction. There's a lot of things to balance in these farming sims, and it's easy to tell when they get it wrong because the sim feels lifeless. The game feels boring, and it's not one that you want to pick up and keep going, especially because the mechanics are so repetitive. There has to be another draw to it to kind of, not make you realize that you're milking your cows every day. You wake up, you milk your cows, you go do things in the town, you fish, you fall asleep, you wake up, you milk your cows, you go do things in the town, you fish, you fall asleep. Like, there has to be something that drives you to keep doing the same thing. And I think the indie scene has allowed this genre to flourish. I know I've mentioned Stardew already, but like that game, in my eyes at least, gave new life to the farming sim genre. That's where it kind of took off back when it launched over 7 years ago. It's crazy to me. It was a love letter to games like Harvest Moon, like the original Harvest Moon and their early work. And it was a fantastic love letter, so much that I think it kind of revived the genre and made it what it is today, made it possible for other people to add their own spin to the farming sim and make unique games. So my ideal farming sim would look something like Stardew, in a sense of it will take something unique and do it very well. So I think it needs to have a mix of storytelling, a character cast to interact with, freedom to build out your farm or make decisions for your farm. Restrictions, though, through daily tasks, having that time management system. You only have so many hours in the day to get things done. It's not infinite. Small goalposts scattered throughout the game. In Stardew, things like the community center. In A Wonderful Life, it's things like expanding your farm and getting married in the first year. Feeling as though you're part of the town. You play these games not only to be a lonely island figure on your farm, which some farming sims allow you to do, but at least for me, I think you need to feel like you're part of this cast of characters, and that as time progresses, your relationship with them progresses, and as your farm progresses, your community progresses. I think that's a really cool mechanic, and it's something kind of unique to the farming sim. And I think you also need to have kind of a different twist on the farming sim. We already have enough games where you milk cows and you plant crops. Stardew filled that void and then some. It did so well, And I just think that farming sims coming out now need to build upon what Stardew has done. Find a way to make yours unique. Maybe it's a world of fairies, and so your crops are different, and there's a really cool hybrid mechanic system to your farming sim, and because you're fairies, that would be cool. Or having like an RPG tunnel fighter, I don't know, you go in tunnels or caves and fight, and then you farm during the day, or what you find in the caves builds up your farm. Like, the idea doesn't have to be totally new. You don't need to come up with like an all new mechanic. It can still be farming at the core of it, but I think you need to put a unique spin on it. And I'm saying you as if you're going to go design a game. Maybe you are, but for me, that's what's going to make a farming sim last. It's going to make me want to play it again and again. And I really have hope for this genre. A lot of indie developers are coming out with some really cool looking farming games, and I'm excited to try them. There's a lot on the market already that I've enjoyed playing. The future is looking bright for the farming sim genre. That answers my question. Are there too many farming sims? Yes and no. Yes, we've already got too many boring farming sims that are lifeless, that are just churned out for money that no one wants to play. And there's always space for new, unique mechanics. And I think this is where the indie game scene is really going to fill that void. I don't know. Maybe a AAA studio or like a bigger studio will come out with a new farming game that really nails it. But so far, I mean, I've been loving Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, and I'm going to make another video about my thoughts on that game and everything. But that's a remake of a game. It's a remaster of a game, so I don't really consider it new to the genre. They just refined it, which is good. I love it. But I don't know if big studios have it in them to pump out these unique, cool, fun, addictive farming sims. So I'm really excited to see what the indie community is going to do. And hopefully big studios, they will pump out some cool farming sims. But my faith is in the indie community. So just farming sims, if like you're looking for some games to play and you've never played a farming sim, Stardew Valley is where I suggest you start. It's one of my favorite ones. Other ones that come to mind, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. It's a remake and I love it. It's great. Pioneers of Olive Town. You can skip that one. That one's don't play that one. I've been enjoying my time at Portia. I think it's a cool mechanic. You're more of a builder rather than a farmer, but there's still farming elements to it. Other ones that I have on my Switch that I haven't played yet, Ooblets, Slime Rancher. I think Moonlighter was another one that added like an RPG element to it. So there's a lot of good things for farming sims. No, I don't think that we've stopped having the need for farming sims. If anything, I think that this genre still has ways to grow and develop. I just hope people don't develop games that we already have. I hope they keep iterating and putting new spins on them and making them truly unique, immersive adventures. And that is all I have to say about farming sims. Okay, thanks, bye.